The Janome Memory Craft 1000 is a sewing and embroidery machine. You get the best of both worlds in one compact machine. This machine is built with Janome quality in mind. So you're going to get sewing, quilting, garment construction stitches, heirloom sewing on the sewing side of this machine. Plus you're going to get the full Janome embroidery with the quality that you're used to seeing. This part of the video, I want to talk about the sewing part of the machine. The Memory Craft 1000 is going to give us 300 sewing and utility stitches. Everything is categorized on our touch screen. Here I have all my utility stitches and I can easily page over. I can see in color what I want to do. I can adjust my stitch length and stitch width on all the sewing patterns right here in front of me. So everything's laid out really easy on this machine. And all my stitches are categorized for me. So I start with utility stitches, then I go into the one-step buttonholes that's on this machine. This machine will come with a specialized attachment that I can actually place the button I'm working with in this attachment. It's going to size it exactly to the size of the button that I'm working with. I really like the accessory tray on this, how it opens toward me so I can see what I need to get to those accessories and keep everything organized for me. Threading is a breeze on this particular machine. I do have the channel threading, has the horizontal spool pin. I do have a place to put a vertical spool pin for twin needle sewing. I will have the top winding bobbin winder built in on the machine. Everything is going to be channeled for me all the way down to my needle. We also have the built-in needle threader. This is easy to use needle threader. I've been threading this machine hundreds of times already, hasn't missed one time. Ken's Sewing Center is going to be here to help you with any question you have about the Memory Craft 1000. You get our premium support package with any machine that you purchase from us. The Memory Craft 1000 will have adjustable pressure. That regulates the amount of force being pressed down onto my presser foot. So I'm working with lighter weight materials. Sometimes if you ever had this happen to you where the fabric will go down into my needle plate, there's too much pressure on my presser foot. Well, I can use this and back that off. If I'm working with heavier materials, like say multiple layers of denim, I may want to make that a little bit tighter or a little bit stronger right here. Now I do like on this machine how it has more in one position. I can raise my presser foot up. It's going to stay up for me for my normal sewing. But if I'm working with thicker materials like multiple layers of denim, if I'm doing sewing on garment grade leather, if I'm quilting, I have extra high lift under my presser foot so I can get those thicker materials up underneath the presser foot, and then I don't have to worry about that. A lot of brands do not give you extra high lift under the presser foot. Now the Memory Craft 1000 will have the bigger feed dog system on it. It's a 7-point feed dog system. This machine actually touches the fabric in 7 places. So for the lighter weight material, that really helps because it keeps my lighter weight material flat. So we'll use for demonstration this stretchy material. It keeps that fabric flat as the needles penetrate the garment. That's going to help reduce puckering. And also if you're working with heavier materials or if you're working with multiple layers, having more surface area touching my fabric is critical to feeding that through smoothly. So while that needle's penetrating the garment, there's no fabric shift in there, and that helps reduce puckering. So that's a great feature to have, and not every machine will give you 7-point feed dog system. The Memory Craft 1000 will have a bobbin sensor built in. It lets us know when you're running low on your bobbin thread. I can see my bobbin as well at any given time. The needle plate on this machine, there's no screws to worry about. It's magnetic, so I can easily just take this needle plate off if I want to change needle plates or if I'm wanting to do maintenance on the machine. It will have that top drop-in bobbin system on it. It's really easy to thread. It does have a thread cutter built in on it, so once I thread my bobbin case, then I can actually trim the excess off, put my bobbin case cover back on, and I'm ready to sew. My computer controls are right here in front of me. There's a lot that we'll get to in just a little bit in the video, but our main buttons are right here in front of us. I can override the speed of the machine on the Memory Craft 1000. So if I want to go a little bit slower for certain areas I'm working with, I don't have to worry about that. If you've got a beginner sewer and you want to make sure you're not going too fast, I can actually back that speed down. It does have the built-in scissor that when I push that, it snips the bobbin and the top thread for me every time. You don't realize how many times you grab your scissors when you're sewing. You don't have to worry about that anymore with the Memory Craft 1000. I do have built-in needle up, needle down. That is a great feature to have as well. I can set the machine to stop needle in the fabric if you're doing applique or if you get to the end of a garment and you want to turn a seam, the needle can stop in the fabric so I can turn a corner, things of that nature. It does have the auto lock feature built in. Auto lock ties a stitch off for me underneath so it's hidden and out of the way. No more ugly back tack on top. Though you still do have traditional reverse built in, you'll probably never use it because of the auto lock feature. That just makes your garment look so much prettier on top, not seeing that back tack but not having to worry about my stitch coming out. You can use the Memory Craft 1000 with or without the foot control. Now it does come with an electronic foot control, but you also can use the start stop button. This works handy for our embroidery side because you will not use the foot control in embroidery mode. For sewing mode, you can use the foot control or the start stop button. From the needle to the inside of the sewing arm is roughly 7¼ inches. That's a lot larger than your average machine. A typical sewing machine is going to give you between 5 and 5½. You have extra room in here for your quilting, and just having more room so I can have my hand on my fabric, that is very critical in helping feed the material, but also it's going to make it a lot more comfortable sewing at on the machine. On the front of the machine we'll have the ruler built in, and my needle plate also has markings for certain seam allowances. There is a place on my needle plate that I can screw down a metal seam gauge, and Ken Sewing Center will carry all those optional items. There's also a place you can get a knee lift for the machine that will raise and lower that presser foot for your free motion quilting. On the side of the machine we will have a built-in USB port, and that's going to come in handy for the embroidery side of this particular machine. Now let's zoom in. I want to show you a little bit about the computer screen on the Memory Craft 1000 for sewing mode. Now across our bottom here we have some main keys that affects the hard drive of the machine. Now you're not going to do anything to erase anything on the hard drive. There's a lot of settings we can change on the MC 1000, and that's great to have. You do not get with a lot of brands for the price of what this machine is. It's a great value. But having all these Janome computer controls that you see on top of the line lock machines in this machine, it's a great value. I can always go home. It takes me back to the main screen. So if I pull up a stitch, it shows me on my screen exactly what the stitch is going to look like. But we'll page over. Let me go into this utility stitch here. So it shows me my utility stitch. When I change my width and the length, I can go all the way up to 7 millimeters. You'll notice this change. This is the actual size of this particular stitch. So I don't have to worry about anymore getting test fabrics and doing sew-offs on a test piece of material. It saves time, saves thread as well, and fabric, so I'm going to know how that stitch is going to look. Machine will recommend a presser foot for me. All the Janome presser feet have letters indented into them, so you know exactly what foot you need to get to put on the machine. It does have the snap-on, snap-off presser feet. That makes it extremely easy. It's a standard high shank Janome machine, and we'll have all those optional accessories that you're looking for this particular machine. My tension and everything is set on this machine, leaving it between 4 and 5. 99% of all your materials, you're never going to have to worry about changing tension on this machine. It's not automatic. You don't need automatic because these machines rarely going to run into that problem. If you have a problem with tension, pick up the phone, be sitting in front of your machine, and give us a call. Because one of our 5 technicians can help you with any kind of question you may have, troubleshooting. All of our technicians are also educators. They know how to operate the machines, so you don't have to be bounced around between departments here at our store. Also down on the bottom, I can go from sewing mode to embroidery mode just at the push of a button. As I go on through the stitches here, I go to utility. You have all the different one-step buttonholes that are built in. Again, it shows me my buttonhole attachment. Then I go into the applique settings. I have 3 pages of applique stitches, all kind of different tacks with a double tack or double tack in between. I can adjust the length and the width on all these particular applique stitches as well. And then I go in, I have decorative cross stitches built in. I have the heirloom sewing. You get a heirloom needle and put that in the machine. It is beautiful how that shows on napkins, little girls' dresses. I've seen all kind of things with embellishment on the heirloom. Have a lot of pages, 4 pages of those. Then you get into the quilting. The machine will have a setting where I can actually push a button and it moves the needle over so you get exact 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then I have all these different quilting stitches that are built in on the MC1000. There's 8 pages of quilting stitches on this particular machine. Then you get into some of the decorative satin stitches. We have the different scallops on the machine. Again, you can adjust that length and width on all those patterns as well. A lot more decorative stitches built in, so you can do all kind of decorative borders and things of that nature. Then you get down to our alphabets. We'll have different alphabets. Now these are great for say men's dress shirts, or if you want to do a small initial, if you want to do a quilt label or a garment tag, because these will be 7 millimeters tall, which is approximately 1/4 of an inch tall. And I have 2 pages of those built in on the Memory Craft 1000. Then I can go down here at the bottom. I have ability to save things on the hard drive of the machine if I wanted to. I can go into the settings. I can turn the beeper off. You've been hearing it beep. I can adjust the screen brightness. Everybody's eyes are different of how you see. If you want the background to be a different color, we can do that as well. No problem at all. There's 6 different settings. I can go back and forth between inches and metrics. If you got patterns that calls for both, we can turn the lights on and off. On it, we'll have the LED lighting system on it, so you get a true white light that helps you match fabrics to thread. It reduces eye glare as well. There are messages on it that will tell us certain things we need to do to remind us to clean our bobbin case here. And there's things we will help you do that the book may not, your instruction manual may not cover on the 1000. There's places you do not want to oil, but there are places, a drop or two, maybe every month or so is great to have and great to do, but there are things that'll tell you and remind you to do. There's also a calibration. As this time goes on with normal vibration, normal use, you can easily recalibrate the screen on this particular machine. And then we have our standby timer. There's a lot of other things built in. Here we can format our USB stick. On the Janome machines, you format your USB stick within your machine. It places an embroidery file on that USB stick, and you save your design within the embroidery file on that USB stick. And you can go back and restore all the defaults. Then I go to my sewing side. There's thread cutters that are built in. Our needle position, we can change that. It does have sensors that detects your upper thread breaking as well as your bobbin thread running out. You have that built in on the machine. We can adjust our speed, startup speed, either hitting the start stop button if you want to start out slow and then gradually go up, or if you want it to go at full speed at the very beginning. You can play with that. You get it to your liking and you save it every time. You're not going to erase anything on the machine. There's several more things that we can do. Now we go into the embroidery mode. You'll have different settings that we can change. This machine will go up to a maximum 660 stitches per minute. Now in embroidery mode, the slowest you can get by with is always going to be your best quality stitch, no matter what brand you go to. But this machine operates at the perfect maximum sewing speed. Between 6 and 650 is pretty much ideal on any machine, any brand that's out there. Again, you have the thread sensors that will detect thread breakages. So if you're in a 15,000 stitch design and the thread breaks, the machine will stop. You can actually back up and sew back over that and you'll never notice that. And then also it's critical in embroidery, when you run out of bobbin thread, the machine will stop. So you can take the embroidery hoop off, put a new bobbin in, and then you're ready to start right back up and everything still looks nice and neat. The machine does have consecutive color grouping. So let's say that we have black within a design 8 different times. It'll group all that together so you can embroider all that at one time and not have to continue to rethread black over and over and over again within a particular design. That saves a lot of time, and I wish more brands would offer this particular feature. You have the jump thread cutting system on this machine. It will cut the jump threads for you between those color changes, or if it's moving from one part of the hoop to the other, it'll snip that, move, and continue on. So that saves you time at the end of your embroidery of getting scissors out and cutting all those jump threads. So a lot of times you can notice that. So there's a lot more designs. There's a lot more settings here that we can change. It does recognize several of the more popular brands of embroidery thread that's out there, but you can also do the eyeball test. If you're embroidering something and you want to change the color, let's say we're doing a red rose and we'd rather it to be yellow. When you get to the part that is the rose petals, you're going to know that the machine's going to show you, and you can change your thread color and thread up there. And there's several languages that are built in on this particular machine. As we go back down to the bottom, there is built in a lot of information. There's QR codes that'll pull up things on your iPhone or your tablet. It gives us how long we've had the machine on, how long we've been operating the machine. And then we can also lock the machine. So if you have little ones or somebody you just don't want anyone accidentally getting into the machine or hitting a button, I can lock the machine, and even if I hit the start stop button or press my foot control, the machine will not operate. That is a great safety feature to have that not every brand gives you as well. Now let's do a little bit of sewing and we'll show just how smooth this machine operates. Going to go back home, and here I'm doing just a regular straight stitch. Notice again that extra high lift under my presser foot. It's going to securely hold down the fabric onto that 7-point feed dog system, and we'll start out real slow just for demonstration purposes, and then eventually we'll speed all the way up. This machine is going to be able to handle multiple types of material without us having to adjust any tensions or do anything. I can adjust that pressure, and it will help actually guide the fabric. I'm barely even holding on to my fabric, and as the machine sews right along, those feed dogs are going to grab that fabric just right in front of my presser foot, so it helps feed that fabric through. Then I can hit the auto lock button. It's going to tie that stitch off for me underneath so it's hidden and out of the way. I'll hit my scissors, it's going to snip that bottom and top thread for me, so I don't have to worry about hitting my razor here on the side of the machine. And I've sewn through a standard cotton all the way through a stretch material. There's no puckering whatsoever. Now the machine is built very durable. This machine has a large motor built into it, has a lot of needle penetrating power. So for multiple layers of denim, here we're going to sew 8 layers of denim on this particular machine. It'll handle it with no problem whatsoever. But if you're also going to do things like quilting, if you get into even garment grade leather, and we can help you with all those type of things of what the machine is capable of doing, all you have to do is reach out to us. But here, the 8 layers of denim is roughly the side seam on a pair of denim blue jeans. We're going to sew right through that. It handles it with no problem whatsoever. We'll even do a tie off on that, and it's going to do it. I'm not concerned whatsoever. Hit our scissor, and it's going to snip that thread for me. I'll raise that presser foot up, and it's handled the 8 layers of denim with no problem. Now let's go into the embroidery mode. I'm going to show you all the great features of embroidery on the MC1000. It's extremely easy for going from sewing mode to embroidery mode on the Memory Craft 1000. All I have to do is push a little button on the right hand side here, and it opens my embroidery mode. Now this machine has a 5.5 by 5.5 inch embroidery field. That is the ideal embroidery field, because this pretty much will cover the entire front of a t-shirt, a polo shirt, even a large man. This is a pretty good size design to put on the front or on a backpack or a back of a jacket or anything like that. Ken Sewing Center does carry all the optional items for the Memory Craft 1000. This machine will have the newer style hoops on it that actually locks down. This makes it a lot easier about hooping. Then all I have to do is hit to go into our embroidery mode. There's all kind of messages that'll pop up that will help you operate the machine. We just hit OK and follow the instructions. On our embroidery side of the machine, we'll have 241 built-in embroidery designs. I can go in, you'll have several designs of all types of sizes, all types of themes. You don't have to buy any designs right off the bat. This machine recognizes the GF format, which is one of the most popular formats on the market. We have the USB port built in, so you can Google free Janome embroidery designs. As long as it's 5.5 by 5.5 inches or smaller, you can use it on this machine. There's all kind of digitizing software, all kind of other accessories available for it. Ken Sewing Center carries all that. We can help you find the right accessories for what you're wanting to do. Then we can just scroll through these designs, pull up the design that we want to do. The machine will show us the size of that design, give us recommended tension settings for it. It'll show us in color exactly what part of the design we're embroidering at that particular time. So if we'd rather change this up and it be a different color, we can do that really easy on the machine. It also will give us the stitch count. This particular design has 8,500 stitches in it, so we can see exactly how many stitches, how many colors are in the design. We can get everything set up and ready to go for that particular design. Then all we have to do is connect our embroidery hoop, hit start, and we're ready to embroider that design out. We can pull up our hoop so we can see exactly how it will look within the hoop. We can go in and fast forward through the stitch count. There's all kinds of things we can do with this design. See all the colors that are in the design. Once we're in embroidery mode, it makes it really easy for us to get the hoops on the machine and start embroidering. The machine is laid out extremely well. We have an embroidery edit mode where we can combine designs within the same hoop. Again, you get the 5.5 by 5.5 inch hoop, which is a spacious area to work with. I like how the hoops actually clamp down onto your material. Makes it a lot easier about hooping. And once you get the hoop locked in, all you do is put it in the embroidery arm right here, and then you lock it in place and the hoop's not going to come off the machine. Let's go ahead and attach the hoop to the machine. Now this hoop is in place. I don't have to worry about anything whatsoever. Now we'll have designs that are built in. I've got alphabets built into the machine. I have a lot of different thematic designs that are built into the machine. I have some real pretty alphabets I can embroider left to right. I can turn and rotate the design any which way that I want to. So here we'll just type in ABC in this font here, and I'll hit OK. It tells me a lot of things to do, makes it really easy for us to pull the designs up on the machine. I can embroider this out just like I have it here, or if I'm wanting to combine things within the same hoop, let's say I want to put a design and put a name underneath it, you do have the ability to do that. So let's go and I'm going to show you what we do. I'm going back in an embroidery mode here. Now let's go from our sewing mode to our embroidery mode. Have embroidery edit, which is this button here. Now I can go in to the machine and add designs. If I want to bring in a design and put a name underneath, I'm able to do that right here from this one screen. I'll choose the hoop that I'm working with. There are optional hoops, and Ken's Sewing Center does carry all the optional hoops that are made for this machine. So we'll select the 5.5 by 5.5 since that's the one that we're working with now. Pull up we'll just do the letter A. It's giving us a recommended tension setting. If I'm in an embroidery edit mode and I want to add things, I can actually drag the design around anywhere that I want to in the 5.5 by 5.5 inch area. And when I let go of it, that's where it's going to put it within my hoop. So everything's on a grid system and a quadrant system. So it makes that really easy. I can continue to do that. And then if I want to add different designs to that, I can do that from this screen. So I can continue bringing designs in off the hard drive of the machine, or if I have a design that I want to put on a USB stick and upload it to the machine. Ken's Sewing Center will carry all the optional accessories and the optional software. There are digitizing programs you can get, not just what Janome makes, but there's other programs that are on the market that you can purchase that's going to be compatible with this machine. That'll save to the format that the MC1000 will save to, so you get the best of both worlds, because Janome is one of the most popular designs, one of the most popular formats that's on the market. I have this cross stitch letter A already set up, so let's embroider it out. It tells me to lower my pressure foot. It beeped at me. So there's things built into this machine that's not going to let you make a mistake. Within the hard drive of the machine or on the design itself, it's telling me how large it is, how many colors, how many minutes it's going to take to embroider that out. And it shows me the stitch count of this design. So as it continues on doing the stitching, it counts the stitches for me. So if the power goes off or somebody accidentally turns the machine off or it comes unplugged, as long as I don't move the fabric out of my hoop, I can pull this same design back up, go in edit mode, fast forward through the stitch count, within where I left off and just continue right on. You will never know that the power went off or anything like that happened. That's the great thing about the MC1000. And I've done what would normally took by hand on a cross stitch design, hours upon hours, literally in 4 minutes, I was able to embroider this out. Looks just like a cross stitch. That's just one of the many things you can do with the MC1000. Now let's zoom in. I want to show you a little bit more detail about the screen, how it's laid out for embroidery, and how easy this machine is going to be able to operate in embroidery mode. We go to our main menu for embroidery. Here's my designs that are built in. I have a lot of different themes that are built in on the MC1000. I can just forward through that. I'll go back to my edit mode if I needed to, if I want to cancel that out. I have a lot of tools built in right here. I can zoom in and change the hoop that I'm working with. Right now we have the 5.5 by 5.5, which is a 140 by 140. There are other optional hoops, so we will carry those and have those on the website for you. I can copy and paste something. So let's say I was wanting to make some patches and wanted that to be the same exact design. I can copy that and paste it. And then I'm able to move that around. I've duplicated my work. That makes it really easy if you're wanting to do something like, say, like the patches and things of that nature. If I wanted to delete something, I have a little trash can. I can go in here and I can actually resize the design built into the hard drive of the machine. There's more tools built in. I can rotate. I can rotate in 1 degree increment or 45 degree increments. I can mirror image, flip it upside down, mirror image left to right. A lot of times that makes a big difference if you've got a pocket or something on a garment that's in the way. Just doing basically mirror imaging something, it changes how everything looks dramatically. Then I have lots of other tools built in for stretching the design out. I can change that color if I want to see what that's going to look like in another color. So I kind of get an idea based on the fabric that I'm working with as far as doing the eyeball test, so to speak, and change everything up. This comes into play quite a bit with multicolor designs. Here we're just doing a simple letter, but if you wanted to do that, you can do that and see what that would look like in a different color. So many more tools that are built in on this machine. Once you get everything set like you want it, you can hit OK, and the machine is going to let us go ahead and embroider, and it gives us all the information on the screen as to what hoop we have on, the size of the design, how many colors, how many minutes it's going to take to embroider it, how many stitches per minute the machine is operating at. So if we had a multicolor design, it's going to show us in color everything about that design. Then if I go up here and I can back up, let's back up. So here we can see on the screen, if I want to move this entire thing around, I can. I could go back and I could add alphabets here. I could add any more design. I can fill this entire hoop up, and I'm going to know exactly where I have everything positioned at. So if when I hit OK, again, it tells me what hoop I have on. I've got 7 colors, and here in my planogram it shows me what color to thread up first, and I'm going to know, because it's in a darker shade, what color it's going to be embroidering, and then I can just continue right on down the line. Here's where I can know what stitch I'm on. If I want to fast forward through my stitch count, I'm able to do that on this machine, and I also can do it right here on the plus and minus. So if you want to fast forward through a portion of the design, you didn't want to embroider, let's say I didn't want to embroider this grass here, I can actually fast forward that through that part and not even worry about embroidering it, continue on to the next portion of the design. Janome makes this extremely easy on their machines of being able to get to where you want to go. You don't have to push 15 buttons to get to where you want to go. Sewing Center is your authorized Janome dealer. We carry everything that's made for the Memory Craft 1000. Feel free to check it out on our website. We have more information about it. We carry everything that's made for it, and we can help compare this model to any other model in the Janome line to help you find the right machine for you.